This is Girls Night Out, the podcast.
Welcome to episode 65 of Girls Night Out. I'm Gavin Stevens, and here with me is...
Matthew Serena, and to my left is...
You gotta do it.
No, I have to
Nick
do it.
Tompkins.
Yeah, and we're down everybody else. Usually we have like 6 or 7, but this is good. There's the 3 of us. It should be fun, right?
It should be.
Yeah, we'll
It's
have
very
fun.
intimate.
Yeah, it is intimate.
Yeah.
Well, it's always intimate. It's just that it's different this week. Because it's only the 3 of us.
None of the girls are here.
None of the other girls. All the other ladies checked out.
Yeah.
Izzy's in the hospital. Maybe he didn't want us to say that.
Can I ask for what? Probably just wanted to say that.
He did. You know what? None of them contacted me except for Jordan and
Right.
Mace. And no, everyone contacted me except for Izzy.
Right.
Izzy contacted Manols, who's in Halifax, which makes sense.
Right.
Contact to say that
You talked to the person the furthest away.
Furthest away.
Yeah,
Just say,
yeah.
hey, I'm not coming. So Pat's moving or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. And other people. And Jordan, Mace might join us,
Right.
but we'll see. I don't think he will.
Okay.
But yeah, here we are.
Okay.
So how's your week so far?
Good. I feel tricked.
What do you feel?
I expected everyone to be here. I'm glad to be here. It's a nice
You're one of
setting.
the ringers, though.
I'm a ringer.
Yeah,
it's
you
nice.
bring you in when.
I'm the third tier.
Well, I wouldn't say third tier.
Second tier?
No, I would say that you're on the team, but you're just, when we're
Right.
down, or if there's space, which we have tons of space. this
When
week.
Scottie Pippen twists his ankle, you bring in this guy.
You bring in this guy. Yeah,
I
you
got
bring
Scottie Pippen was my go-to sports
You
reference.
bring in the Kukooks.
The Hoo-Hoos?
Kukooks. That's one of the players on the Bulls at that time. Tony.
If it's not Jordan or Pippen, I don't really know.
Kukooks was a great player. He was from not Italy, but another one of those white countries.
Okay.
Yeah, not
One
from
of
the
them.
black countries.
Okay.
It's from the white countries. Yeah. Tony Kukooks.
No.
Okay.
No. I like you added his first name. Like I know so many Kukos.
Well, you said Pippen.
I know Jeff Kukos, but no, Tony, no.
He might be Serbian. Is
Serbian?
Jeff Kukooks Serbian?
I just learned of his existence like a minute ago.
Okay, all right.
Grilling me on his nationality is not going to do you any good.
We do have the internet. We can look up Tony Kukooks anytime and find out who he was.
Okay.
He was part of the last Bulls dynasty when they won.
Mm-hmm.
He was part of the last team that won the championship.
Okay.
When just before Jordan came back, was wearing number 45. They didn't win. They didn't go that far. And then he switched back to 23 because his jersey was retired.
Mm-hmm.
And then they won. He was part of that franchise.
Kukos. Okay.
Tony Kukooks.
Okay.
Nice.
So, should we jump into it? Are we?
Yeah, since nobody's here to help us out, I'm just
We can't be pathetic. We can be
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah, we can be more awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just because people are here. Yeah, we're gonna have less dick jokes, less farting, and
Yeah, that's actually when you say that makes it sound a lot better.
Yeah, exactly.
You're actually not missing out on anything. This is actually quite a bit.
yeah. There's
better.
no gas. There's no one pissing in bottles.
Yeah.
It's actually
Does it happen
civilized.
often? Pissing in bottles?
Oh, it happened once. Once is often.
Yeah, it's once is one too many.
much.
Yeah.
Once not during a podcast. Once is too much.
And there was threats to do it again. So I feel
Threats?
like yeah.
Like, why would you? The door was locked. You don't have to threaten us to do it again.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
What did you guys see any good movies? I saw the Lego movie this weekend.
That was great. I
It was
love
awesome.
it. Yeah.
It was a great movie. Yeah.
I feel like I'd hate it. I didn't see it, but I feel like I would just because it's a franchise.
No,
Every
it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I went into that thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
like
it's
movies based on TV or toys never seem to hit the mark, but
This was amazing. And you're, at the end, I'm like, that was really smart of Lego to do. It was really smart. You know it's product placement,
Yeah.
but it's really smart of them, the way they did it. It was amazing. It was a great movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I have to see it.
yeah, it's not just for kids. There's some jokes that go over the kids' heads,
It's
which I like
very
when
funny.
kids' movies have
Yeah.
that.
It's very funny and very surreal, and it's got that, very meta. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Fucking Lego movies meta. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so it got a lot of meta. A lot of... Yeah. So we're already... We're not out of topics. What do we got as topics?
We got a few. There's that whole Yes All Woman thing that happened.
What
this
was it
week.
called? Yes.
Yes All Women. I
Yes,
believe.
all women.
Yeah.
The empowerment.
Yes.
Like everyone told their stories.
It was in response to Not All Men, which was basically saying not all men are like what's that, Roger?
Yes, Roger. I forget his name. The shooting guy that we talked about last week, which I put up in the tags and the stuff. And
so I guess men were whining about how they're not like that and everything, and so women are like, yeah, you're not like that, but we deal with this shit every time. Like we could walk out the door and get followed, or get catcalled at, or whatever. And
objectified.
Exactly.
Yeah, all the time.
And I guess because there was a lot of people, there was a lot of rage in between the two of them, and it just seemed like it was just hate. And people were posting like photos or graphics of like the things that would say, yeah, not all men are monsters. Say 10% of them are monsters, or there's 10% of M&Ms are poisonous. Go ahead, take like a handful and
yeah, I like that one. It was 10%. If 10% of men, what is it? Only 10% of men, or it's like not all men commit sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
But just imagine if 10% of M&Ms were poisonous, would you still take a handful?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The idea of it doesn't matter. Like I don't know which one are the 10%.
Yeah. But my argument was, you switch that word from man to black man or to Asians or anything like that, and then suddenly that poster's not all that funny. And I was just like, it's kind of like it's spreading. I felt like it was kind of hateful because it, like, to some extent, the not all men. Well, a lot of them were just being douchey.
Yeah,
just saying a lot of douchey shit, and especially if anybody was saying anything positive about rape or anything like that.
Yeah,
but like This is kind of awful. Like when I first saw it, I just felt like it was really, really. If you had switched the topic to anything else,
so you're saying like if it was like not all black men do this, or like let's say, but I would take a handful of Smarties, like the same thing. Yeah.
This one is you say not all men are monsters. Imagine a bowl of M&Ms. 10% are poison. Go ahead, eat a handful. Not all M&Ms are poison. So I was like, what you said? Not all Asians are monsters. Imagine a bowl of M&Ms and 10% of their poison. Go ahead, eat a handful. Not all M&Ms are poison. Like to me, it's just because it's about males that it's okay, and to me it shouldn't be okay on either side. And if all things are equal, then that isn't a good way to sort of promote the message of equality, because you're not gonna. I felt like you're not gonna get that from promoting or boistering this kind of message rather than the actual pure message, which is we get followed. We get.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like having actual debate or actual conversation or education as opposed to that.
Yeah,
which is like
And then I work with women, and they were telling me about some of the stuff, and I'm like, shit, like I can't. Like they actually get followed regularly, and like harassed on the regular, and so it kind of made me think about it a little bit more. And then maybe I'm being a little whiny about this, and then. My wife, I started talking to her about it, and she's like, yeah, it happens all the time. It happened this, and this. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, this is like a thing. Like, and like, I talk to her every day, and yet that topic didn't really come up. So then I started thinking, maybe this isn't that bad. Because this conversation.
I don't think it's bad, but I also think it's like, there's the point where it becomes where you can't talk about it. Like, you can't have any level of dissent.
Yeah.
Not that, you know what I mean? Like, where it's just like, oh, you're just a douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
Because my wife said, like, oh, this is a woman thing, so we don't get an opinion on it, which is bullshit because you're talking about us.
Yeah.
So we should have an opinion on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And my point was anything that becomes where you can't dissent against it is bad.
Yep.
Where you can't have, like, an opposing opinion, because that's what we should be doing, is talking about it, at least.
Yeah, it just got this mob mentality feel to it, and whenever that happens, I don't know why I get, like, my feathers just get ruffled, but I'm just like, I don't know what it is about this, I just don't like it. I don't like it.
I think it's good, but I also agree with you. Like, I remember this day, the slut walk. Today was a slut walk? I know I'm staring at you.
I don't know.
Were you doing the slut walk this week, man?
No, I wasn't.
You could actually do the slut walk.
That's the one where they, like, the female empowerment?
Yes, the female empowerment. I remember last year it was Manolis was doing a show. We were doing a show at around somewhere in Hess, not in Hess, by I forget. Anyway, we were doing a show and Manolis went on stage. He was doing a bit, and I forget what the bit was, but a woman got mad at him in the audience. And you have to understand Manolis' type of comedy. It's comedy. And it wasn't anything bad, but she got mad and started, like, yelling at him and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but you're not going to change someone or make someone see your side of the point with yelling and attacking and threatening. You have to talk to them. If you want someone to see and have empathy to your shit, you gotta see their point of view too, and like understand where they're coming from. To just like, oh, men are evil or whatever. You just, you're gonna get most people going, okay, go fuck yourself.
Exactly. That was because I felt like it just become that. It was just like a flame war. Right?
Well, yeah, people are gonna defend themselves.
Yeah.
And sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, if you're not like a piece of shit, man, you've been fighting against that grain your whole life. And granted, the woman grain is a lot harder to fight against. There's no question.
But here's the thing: is I think everyone's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, I think everybody's a piece of shit. I think like it's hard to police your thoughts, and it's hard. Like, I know I've been sexist. I don't based on the definition of sexism or misogynist, I've been it in my life, and I've been a bully, and I've been bullied, and I've been racist, and I've dealt with racism. To say that no one's perfect. No. It's not the idea of being perfect. It's like being able to take a step back and go, oh, okay, I'm acting like this.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. And that was part of it too, is I was like, I think if they're going to have a conversation about that, not woman versus men, but equality, especially when men are causing a lot of this grief, it's sometimes pulling men into the conversation might not be a bad idea, because they can say, well, I'm a guy and I kind of feel like the reason why this is happening is because of this, based on my hormones, based on how I've previously done, as a youth, maybe catcalled a girl or whatever.
And women do the same thing too. I mean, like you look at any of those. Like my wife was telling me a story about how they hired firemen to go. They got a roofing job with these firemen. Yeah, and they go, and the women love it in the neighborhood. You tell me if that was a whole bunch of women doing the same thing, and we did that. Yeah. As dudes, we'd be fucking evil.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's like sometimes people don't want equality. I don't think, or maybe they do. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm for equality. I'm for everyone to be treated equal.
Same.
That's it. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Everyone should be treated equal.
Thank you. I just needed you to back me.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I think it's different. I think with women, innocently catcalling firemen is one thing, following home is another.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. I'm just saying it's like I'm comparing the two on the same.
Yeah, the innocent catcalling I can understand. I wouldn't say it's harmless, but it's not as extreme.
It's uncomfortable for everyone.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but it's not like follow you home, make you
disgusting.
Feel uncomfortable type.
Yeah, sexual assault is just that's disgusting. But those are psychos.
Yeah,
those are psychos. Yeah. And that's what we should have the war on, is psychos.
Yeah.
It's like they were trying to ban large sodas in New York City. But who's that for? Like for people who can't control.
People are just getting sugar hyped and killing people?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, because of their obesity. But it's like, I should have the right to kill myself with sugary sodas. You shouldn't take that away from me. It's the same thing. It's like,
Yeah,
except sodas are killing us. Yeah.
No.
Sexually assaulting us.
Not yet, at least.
Sexually assaulting sodas? Oh my god, they're delicious. But when they get down your pants, Yeah. When they're in the back of your pants.
Oh, Mr. Pibb.
Mr. who?
Pibb? Is that a drink? Mr. Pibb?
I thought it was Mr. Pip. Dr. Pepper.
What's Mr. Pibb?
I have no idea.
Oh, I feel like that was a soda. Maybe it's Pip I'm thinking of.
Pip?
There is a Mr. Pibb in the States.
When you're this big, they call you Mr. Pip. That's what he says when he's inside you. When you're this big, they call you Mr. Pip.
Cool. No,
is that?
I think
this is going to be the awkward silence.
We just got sued.
I don't think Mr. Pibb is a soda.
Oh.
I just found out that Fruitopia isn't sold in the States.
Isn't it? Do they sell something else in its place that's similar to it?
It didn't do well. And then McCain bought it. Coca-Cola dropped it. McCain bought it, and it's only in Canada. You only get it in Canada, not in the Americas.
Interesting.
In the States, when they have the Reese's peanut butter cups, they only ever get the 2 for the regular size one.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how do you guys not feel ripped off 24/7?
But they do have Cookie Crisp.
Yeah, that's a good cereal.
Tiny cookies that's not a good cereal.
I grew up with it. I can tell you, it's a good cereal.
It's a child abuse cereal.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
That's
more than fine with abuse.
Yeah, it's diabetes marker for sure.
It's cookies
Yeah.
for breakfast. It's cookies for breakfast.
I think it's more shaped like cookies than it is cookies. I think it's a mind. They fuck with your head. It's like the ingredients they make like a sugary cereal, but it's like shaped like a cookie. Yeah, it doesn't taste like cookies.
I think it's funny you're more okay with them fucking with your head than just putting cookies.
Yeah, in your cereal.
Yeah, they're fucking with my head that way. I'd rather have cookies in my cereal.
Okay. All right, Matt.
I'm more mad about this than the Yes All Women discussion.
Exactly.
That's what's messed up.
Passion that just came off of you. Don't fuck with my cookies.
I felt nothing for that hashtag, but give me those cookies, God damn it.
Chris was just you're fucked with that.
It's good stuff.
So did you yell at the women in, I call them girls, the women in your work? Did you yell at them and say, shut the fuck up?
No.
I'm tired of this
No.
hashtag.
I agree with their point of view on how it exposed the issue. I just didn't agree with the execution. But the thing is, there's nothing you can really do about it. It's on Twitter, so it's like kind of an empty argument. But whenever something like that happens, whether it's against a minority or gay people or whatever it is, I just why is it mob mentality? Like they just kind of
it's always mob mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been mob mentality, but it's good and bad, because powerless have a voice and women can tell these stories under one hashtag and stuff.
The other thing too I was saying was that this time next year, I'm going to ask you if anything's changed. And I'm going to bet you anything nothing has, because and this is the thing, it is awareness, and I'm aware of it. I'm going to talk about it for a couple of weeks and have it in my head, but it's not actually. It's like that whole Coney thing or whatever, 2012.
Well, I didn't even
that
exist.
went fucking super viral. And one organization made millions of dollars, and like that guy went from like just a warlord to like an infamous warlord. Like just all this stuff happened that was not positive towards that cause, and it was just like.
The thing is, I'm also wondering how many like companies are like taking that hashtag and like marketing to women on that hashtag. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I guess it's smart. I guess it's a good thing, but again, like. I don't know. You got to change the whole. Like, no one's fighting the actual like commercials and all that stuff for what's actually happening. What's actually made women look like objectified women or use women as like a product to sell products, which is the worst thing, I think.
Yeah.
No one's actually going after them. They're going after the result of all of that. They're going after the. And rightfully so, go after the fucking assholes. But it's like that's one guy that harasses you is one guy. You got to go after the people that support it on a big level too.
Yeah,
that put that out there. Like I remember the nerds were complaining about comic book guys at the comic convention that would harass women and say that you're not a real nerd, which is stupid. You're not a real nerd, and they question them with comic book stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's terrible, but you're never going to change an asshole's opinion. And I'm not saying shut up. I'm just saying it's like go after the company. Like, like if that's bothering you and you hate it, tell the people that run the con, hey, you know what? If this happens, we're not showing up anymore. I guarantee they'll change their shit. Once you take money out of their pockets, they'll make policies and they'll change that shit.
Yeah,
and that's where the power comes from.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Is like I feel like I don't know if just society in general promotes that, but also women chew each other up a lot. Just one example is we have this friend in Kitchener. Her name's Lindsay, and she had like 3 kids, and she's like beautiful. She's attractive woman and everything, but she's posting about how this part of her body's not great anymore and that, and she's had kids and she's felt all the self-esteem issues, and I'm like, who put this? Like, no man gives a shit. Like any man will look at you and just
but
say
it's not about us, right? Like, first of all, she has a right to do that.
Yeah, no, she has a right to do that.
That's not going against like why a woman should be treated like shit, but like I don't know. I don't see that as bad.
It's not as bad. It's kind of a separate thing, but it's just the fact that that there's an image problem implanted in well, I guess men and women, but for some reason women very specifically. Yeah. And I don't know, other women just tag up on it too sometimes, I find.
Well, I mean, like in marketing we did that to women. Like I said, we use women as product. So they live in that world. Like I don't know. Yes, we are women.
Yeah. You want to go on to something else?
It doesn't matter. Do you want to?
No. What topics did you guys bring? I didn't.
Self-driving cars, Clifford Meyer.
We went from YesAllWomen to self-driving cars.
I got on the paper, so
That's
We had self-driving
technology.
cars.
the only thing I can say is I love telling people in the transportation industry about self-driving cars and how it's going to put them out of a job. I just, I have a brother-in-law. He's a transport truck driver, and I always like complain about them being on like the highway. And he's like, "Oh, you need this," and all that shit. And then I just bring up, "Oh, Google's coming out with some self-driving cars soon, and eventually they'll make transport trucks, and then eventually they'll make robots that pull the things off the back." And just to get him all riled up, he's like, "No, I still need
There you
somebody."
go.
Yeah.
Tell a guy he's going to lose his job and support his family. It's hilarious.
Gotcha.
Yeah, burn.
It's just because he got so revved up about it that I'm like,
Yeah, because
okay.
that's his whole life. What else is he going to do? Like, so revved up because he can't support his family, was
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah, I guess that would be it.
So, so he probably hates you because you're in the tech industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't hate me. He doesn't like that conversation. Let's put that.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that. If someone said to me, "Hey, you know what? We can replace comedians with robots." You're fucked. Ha ha. You're fucked. See ya.
Yeah.
Good luck. I hope your kids find a good cardboard box to live in, because that's what you.
Hope your kids like crackers.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust a self-driving car, man. I guess I'm old school like that. I told a woman today. She's like, I was trying to joke with her, and I think she thought it was dumb. She's a teacher, and she's one of these like hippie kind of people, and we were talking about, she teaches high school. I'm like, oh man, I don't trust high school kids. She's like, really? And she's like, I think you're nice, but I trust high school kids more than adults. I'm like, adults are rational.
No.
And she's like, no, yeah.
How do you trust an adult over a high schooler over an adult?
Exactly. High school. She's like, I'm like, yeah. I had to like, when you have to ease people back into it. I'm like, individually, kids are nice, and they're not. And
But
then,
as a group, though?
yeah, as a pack, there's no rationality plus hormones.
They're mean.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of fucking office shootings. You see high school shootings. I didn't get into all that shit, but she was like, "Oh, adults are more irrational." No, adults are very irrational.
Some are, but I mean,
some aren't.
high school kids, you got
But the ratio,
cliques and,
yes, exactly. High school is prison. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't trust either of them.
I don't mind adults. I can deal with adults. High school is just, they terrify me. Just seeing them on the bus and their packs. I heard about stories of them getting on subways in New York. Scary motherfuckers. They don't have our rules. They live in a post-apocalypse. Anything goes. They don't give a fuck.
A lot of the flies in there.
Exactly. They're totally... And when they don't have supervision, that's when they lose their shit.
Yeah.
Like, we're always under supervision. Because our egos... have been nurtured so much that we have supervision all the time. We're always wondering what someone's going to think of us. So we act a certain way, unless we're fucking psychos.
Yeah.
But, we're so beaten down in life. We don't want to lose our job. We don't want to do that. We don't act out. Teenagers don't kind of anything.
Yeah, there's I don't know if it still exists, but I was I don't want to use quotes because I was arrested twice when I was a kid. When I was like 16 and then 18, and you can only take alternative measures once. It was just for stealing shit out of Kmart or whatever, right? And you can take alternative measures one time, which is instead of getting it on your record or whatever, you make a poster that says "crime doesn't pay" or some shit like that. And they, at the end of it, they're like, "You can't take this again." I'm like, "All right." And then I went through and I'm like, "Have you taken it?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "How are they gonna know?" Like, they didn't even put
What
it
do
on.
you mean?
Like, because you don't put it on your criminal record. So I just said, "Fuck it." Yeah, I didn't.
You mean take the same item again?
Yeah, like, because if you do something else, like steal again,
Yeah.
then you can't take it a second time because you're supposed to only been able to use that once. But I took it again.
Then you told the police one day there's going to be robot cops and pissed them off, and they arrested you a third time.
You're going to be out of a job.
I guess that's just.
You and your family's fucked.
I guess it's just RoboCop.
Yeah.
I guess it does exist already.
Any
The RoboCop doesn't exist, man.
Well, one day they will.
movie.
One day they will.
I like how I guess it already exists. What was I thinking?
Well, it'll be back.
RoboCop?
2 times already. They'll
You
remake
gotta
it.
kill a man to do it. You gotta kill a cop.
Are you daring me to kill a cop?
If you want RoboCop, that's what you have to do.
I like those odds. I like those odds.
So you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna be a cop killer. You're gonna be like the Ice-T song.
I feel like you're baiting me to admit I'm going to kill a police officer.
I'm not baiting you. I just want you to say it.
It's like the worst entrapping. Get a microphone in my face, and even hiding a wire.
And then all these cops pop out of all.
I'm holding my own wire.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I got myself wired to catch myself.
Freeze! I'm under arrest. I'm gonna kill a cop to make RoboCop. That'd be an awesome trial, though.
Yeah.
You're on trial to kill a cop.
In my defense, go on. No, it says.
Have you seen RoboCop?
Yeah.
Your defense is RoboCop 1 and 2, the original series.
No, 3 or the remake.
3
no,
wasn't good. Oh, you want 3 or the remake?
I didn't see the remake.
The remake wasn't that good. It was filmed in Hamilton, though.
I saw.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It wasn't as good as the original with Murphy, and that's why I don't want self-driving cars. No, I always thought self-driving cars would be like Knight Rider, but when I see them, they just make them out of Priuses. They don't make them out of fucking Firebirds. Like, if you made it out of a fucking cool car and they could jump and shit, yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, well, we'll get there eventually, I think.
You think they'd make it out of a Firebird? Or Camaro, like a Camaro from the 80s.
Well, that's because Google, right?
A Z24?
Yeah. That would be awesome. I think, like, if you've seen what the car sees, it's actually more accurate than any human. Like, it's picking up things that, like, no human, like body heat and all this kind of shit. And it's not just, like, one sensor. It's, like, 10 different things, like, analyzing it. They just, I guess they graphed San Francisco entirely, like, the entire terrain in this, like, 3D canvas or whatever. So what the car does is takes a picture of that canvas and whatever's in front of it and compares it to the previous one that it has, and that's how it can tell difference within the, I guess, the atmosphere around it.
Well, it's going to be a huge trial if they ever do it.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a huge trial to decide whether they're going to have self-driving cars.
It's going to be interesting, yeah. Like,
and they take the pedal and the steering wheel out, all that shit out of there.
I think it'll still be in. It's going to be like that whole iRobot manual override type of thing.
I'm telling you, if I got a self-driving car, I'm sitting in the back seat.
Yeah.
I'm totally like, you're driving the front. I'm sitting in the back. I'm sleepy. That's the point of self-driving car. So you can wake up early and sleep going to work.
Yeah.
You don't have to drive.
Yeah.
Are they gas powered? Are they just regular cars with these machines inside of it, or how does it work?
Hamster powered. Nice. They throw a hamster in the gas tank and it chews it up and uses energy. It sucks its soul out. Yeah. It's powered by souls.
Is it one hamster per mile, or?
Yeah, it takes a few miles. Hamsters go a few miles. Yeah, one hamster per mile would.
This is a side topic, but there is a beam vacuum cleaner attachment that connects perfectly with the Habitrail system. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
For what? To vacuum out the hamsters?
I guess. I don't know why it fits, but it fits perfect.
I guess maybe for chips. They get the.
Well, if I'm in the back, I'm eating chips.
Yeah. Well, I meant like the wood chips.
Oh, they're like potato chips.
Yeah. No, you can eat potato chips.
Goddamn right I will be. If I'm in the back seat in the self-driving car.
Mess.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be a mess.
Yeah, if there's a vacuum there to clean it up, I'll eat whatever I want.
Oh, eat. There'll be cum stains because you're jerking off. You basically live inside that car.
It's getting so hard for technology, I gotta do it.
It'd just be horrible. That's why I used to have this joke about the first robots. After a while, they're gonna look like this. People are gonna use them like toilets after a while, like just fucking dirty, just disgusting pieces of shit. Because eventually, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, robots are so common. And you're gonna have robots that are like they're still AI and still awake, but they'll be stored under in your crawl space and just waiting to be sold at a garage sale. Like crackheads gonna be selling robots to people. You want to buy a robot?
I just
get away from me, crackhead.
When you said that initially, I had this image of just robots walking down the street and they're like old shit. You just go up to them, piss on them, and shit on them.
Well, yeah, like a shitty hotel, just like a bad hotel.
Yeah.
If I'm here, they're going to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, there's going to be better robots, and then robots will take over the planet. Aliens are robots. That's my theory. Using self-driving cars as feet, like Voltron.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
There's another topic. This Nick Dury guy said that maybe we could share the first set of, like, our first sets ever. Stories about bombing and killing, and what made you go back a second time?
Nick Fury
from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Is he missing an eye?
No.
He has an eye patch?
don't think so.
I can't tell if you're going along with the joke.
yeah.
I don't,
He's thinking
I don't
about
think
it.
so.
Yeah.
You don't know Nick Fury.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
But yeah,
Hasselhoff, yeah.
David Hasselhoff for original
Nick Fury.
filmed in Toronto.
Is it really?
Yep.
I heard he's really pissed off at Sam Jackson.
Why would
He
you
wasn't
be?
cast in the Avengers.
He was waiting for his call. He's
Yeah.
standing by the phone. He's
What
just
the
standing
hell?
there. He's just standing there. He's got his eye patch on.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But he can't. He's looking up with the wrong eye.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You got Robert Downey Jr. You got Chris Evans. You got David
Of
Hasselhoff.
course I'll be in this movie.
Get him on the horn.
Of course. Of course they'll bring me in.
Yeah.
Holes in Horf.
He was there for. He was the lifeguard of the rap party, so they brought him in. We got to use him for something.
They had a pool.
Yeah.
And Hasselhoff was the lifeguard.
They know he knows how to do it.
No one's getting in the pool, so he just started mingling, going, "Do you want to swim? Do you want to go for a swim?" Guys, the pool's, it's always going to be nice in there.
Yeah.
She can jump in. Why don't you jump in? I know you're wearing a suit. Jump in.
Hey, David, our DJ had a few too many drinks. Let's go watch him. Come on, back on the post.
Yeah, poor Hasselhoff, man. That shitty. Got fucked on that, man. He got fucked hard.
I heard it was promised that there was going to be future roles with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't
After
know
the TV movie, they thought he was told he was going to be the official Nick Fury.
Marvel was just like, now they're getting their shit together. When they did that, they're like, yeah, who wants a character?
Yeah.
They're giving it out like fucking Magic the Gathering cards.
I think on VHS I've got saved that Mutant X movie.
Yeah, Mutant X.
Yeah.
I own a couple of characters. I have Doctor Strange, and I can do whatever I want with that.
Yeah.
They just gave them out. Anyone could get a character from Marvel at
Who
that
gave
time.
a shit?
Right now, they're like, with Sony, apparently they're blocking them. They're canceling their Fantastic Four book because they're not going to promote Sony and the other companies that come out with comic book franchises. Because X-Men just made $500 million.
The new one or all of them?
The new one.
together?
$500 million. So they're like, all right, fuck that. We're not going to support these people. So if you're reading comic books, you're kind of fucked now because of that. But yeah, it's big business. But before, anyone could get a fucking franchise. The Fantastic Four was done by Troma Films originally, the Toxic Avenger guy. He got the original Fantastic Four movie. Now you can't touch it. So when Hasselhoff did it, was like, oh yeah, we want to do Nick Fury. Oh yeah, sure, man. We were using Nick Fury to wipe our asshole. We were making Nick Fury toilet paper. So take it, enjoy. Yeah.
Poor David.
Poor David.
David.
We went off on the guy's name.
Yeah.
Fucking.
And it's
What
not
was this
even-
question about our first shows?
First sets. How they bombed, how they killed, and
I think first set.
yeah.
If they bombed or killed. I bombed my first set. I didn't know I bombed, but I did terribly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You?
Oh, there's more to that?
That was it.
No.
Yeah.
What made you go back a second time?
I didn't know I bombed. But I also want to do it. Yeah. There's a long time of just sucking, and you just keep doing it, and you're like, all right, I'll figure this out. And then you'll do good, and then you suck for a long time, and then you do good. Your first 5 to 6 years, you don't know shit about comedy. You just don't know anything. It takes about 10 years when you start going, I understand it. But 5 to you get to that 5 to 10 years, you're like, okay, I have an idea. I know how to be funny on stage for me. But you're not really doing it properly, and then you get to 10 and you start understanding it more. That's really how it works. Yeah.
It's a long time.
It is a long time, but that's the fun of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as you go along, there's things you learn.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like it's learning all the tricks and learning all the things, but learning how to do your own thing. And that's when you hit 10, you start understanding how to do your own thing. But it's learning all those tricks and making the muscle reflexes. It takes about 10 years to make it a muscle reflex, like to make it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's so much. Yeah. That when you're on stage in the moment, it just comes to you. So yeah, I don't know. What was your first time?
I remember my first time. I had like sheets of paper with me, like you see most guys have got like typed up sheets.
Really?
I think I had like 2 or 3 sheets.
Did I see your first time?
No,
Okay.
it would have been in March of 2012.
Okay.
I remember the first thing I ever said on stage got a big laugh, and then it just kind of slid downhill.
Yeah.
It was because it was at the Yuck Yucks on Upper James.
Oh, wow.
I know Patrick had started off the show by asking if it was anyone's birthday or anything, and no one said anything. And so he's like, even if it's not your birthday, just whatever. So I said it was my birthday. And when it was my turn to go up, I think the first thing I said was, guys, it's not my birthday. And then I said, I just realized now, if anyone who just walked in now and missed Patrick's thing just saw a guy announce it wasn't his birthday as his opener, like, what is going on? And that did well, but then once I got into my stuff, like, I had like a bunch of pre-made out jokes, and then I just whizzed through them, and then I was like, well, now it's time for the one-liners, and like, I just had so many one-liners on the sheet, but I had no way of segueing to them, so I was just reading them, going from one to the next.
You know, the opening joke is hilarious. It's so you. Mm-hmm. It's just, that's why it worked. It's so honest. It's not my birthday.
Yeah, just so you guys know.
Yeah, guys, it's not my birthday today.
They have no idea what just happened. Like, why did you just say that?
That's a great joke. That'd be a great. You should try that. Like, it's not my thing. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, people think it's your birth. Like, walking in a room and having to say that legitimately.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. It's not my birthday.
Just saying that.
Today. You're going to have to take down those banners.
Yeah, you guys got to go.
Yeah, you got to
guys, get out of my house.
Sorry.
I don't know who told you it was my birthday today, but you got to get out.
Situation
you got to get out.
Guys, it's not my birthday.
Can't do this again. You sure? Yeah.
They did so much prep for you.
Cake? Yeah, well, leave the cake.
As opposed to your regular, it's my birthday today, and everyone forgot. Everyone forgot my birthday.
Today's not my birthday.
Today's not my birthday.
And then I didn't just go up until August of that year, I think. I think I was too ashamed.
I did that too.
Like, we think, I did so badly. Oh, I did it. That's all I'm going to do it. But then I met some other friends. When I met Devin. And then from there, it's like, okay, we're all going to go up together. And it was it was the strength in numbers. Yeah, at Corktown. I saw you guys
at Corktown. I remember I had the same thing. I had this killer set, and I didn't go up for like a couple of months. Mm-hmm. And then I did a bad set at a comedy club, and I was just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're new, but what was I
was going to say, what made you go back a second time? The
second time? I did it the first, and I enjoyed it. I've always been more into writing than stand-up, and now it's slowly changing. And then when I met Devin and everything, he hadn't done stand-up at that point. So I think once he was kind of wanting to try it, I kind of got that bug back. Mm-hmm. And we went to, Corktown a bunch. And then it was me, him, and Black Zeus. And we kind of went up together. And I think that's what, if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have gone up again for probably another few months after that. Because even getting it the first time, for years I said I'd do it, and I'd try it once, and I never did it. And it kind of takes someone pushing you.
Yeah, you look like you're having fun now. You don't look like you were having fun then.
Yeah, it was nerves.
Yeah, it looked kind of. It wasn't painful to watch. It just you didn't have the same fun as you're having now.
Right.
Like, you can see that you're having a good time.
You kind of stop caring.
Yeah. Even in your mistakes, which are hilarious. I always said that. Like, your awkwardness and your mistakes are funny.
Right.
You're enjoying it now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is like it takes so long to get to that because you know what you're funny. You know why you're funny.
Yeah.
It's just confidence. That's what you're really getting.
Right. And it's like before it was almost like a monologue where he was hitting the same jokes in the same order with the same beats. But then you kind of see the lines in between the jokes and you can just kind of zigzag from one to the other. And then you kind of do the more crowd work and everything. That's the kind of the point I'm at where it's like switching things up and don't make it look like you're reading a script up there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you're also, that was for you to shut up. That was Matt's alarm to shut up.
I'm getting the light.
It's like, hey, he's done. All right, you're done talking. It's a great. It's good to like when you're doing it to be like what you're talking about is to be aware of what you're learning and how you're learning. You know what I mean? And the new things that you can that you've gained as you go, as opposed to being clouded by trying to achieve something, because then you'll miss all that shit.
Yeah.
Because once you hold that, you hold those things in your head, like the things that you learn as you go along. These are like experience points or like combination codes that you know in a video game, fighting game, you get the combinations and you just lock them in your head, and then you start learning that I can use it, and then the other stuff like achieving stuff that'll come along eventually. That's just hustle. There's people who are really good at that hustle, though.
Yeah.
But the hustle's not hard. The hustle's hard, but anyone can do it. Not anyone can do comedy.
Right. You kind of have both of the things. You can't have one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't just be a comedian, especially in this day and age. You can't just do that.
Right.
You're fucked. Yeah.
Like the lines have kind of been blurred about comedian and writer and comedian and, viral superstar or whatever. Like
all of it it's a good time though, right?
Yeah. Well, it's so easy to get your name out there.
Yeah, there's no superstars anymore. I think it's gonna fall apart even more.
Yeah.
I think so. I think guys will be more DIY. I said it before. Eventually, the comedy clubs. So we're seeing the comedy club system crumble in Canada. It's building up but they're bringing American comics, but it's for the Canadian comics it's crumbling. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't have too much to sort of contrast against. And like you said, I'm super new. I just started in January, and I actually got into this just for business reasons. I wanted to be able to talk to people a little bit better, and I figured, comedy is like perfect. It's a perfect sort of venue for that. But I don't know. It so far my experience has been like awesome, and like the scene's been like super accepting and all that kind of stuff. But I like the first time I went on, I brought a bunch of friends. It was Yuck Yucks. Just like I said, like January or so was the first time I went up. Yeah. And all my friends were, like, of course, everything I said is funny and like clapping everything. But I always lean away from my ego. I was like, that's because they're my friends and all that kind of stuff. So I did well, but I didn't think that necessarily meant anything.
Yeah.
And so then I did Corktown and a few other venues. I always stayed local. I haven't gone anywhere else or anything like that. But my thing is like, I don't care about where I go. I like making people laugh, and that's kind of, I don't know. I haven't, like, bombing has happened. It happens all the time. So it's like, I don't even think about that. I just kind of think about, did I improve on something? Did, how many people laughed? Even maybe like 3 people laugh, like to some comedians, it's like, oh, I only got maybe 3 people laugh. Like those 3 people thought about me and what I said for like more than 30 seconds. Yeah. It's like, that to me is like amazing. I just love that.
It's tough to know, like, sorry to interrupt you. It's tough to know how a joke is perceived. Like having a friend laugh at it is one thing, and having a stranger laugh at it, then having someone in a different city laugh at it, and having a bomb somewhere else. It's very easy to never do a joke again because you think it's bad. Yeah. It's hard to know how good it really is.
Yeah, on your level it's tough because you're not touring. You guys aren't touring, and it's still tough if you don't tour too often. But every city has a different voice and has a different personality, and it's just like the one thing I'm learning recently is like it's not to like any one joke is like that's the joke that's going to kill everywhere. It's like just accept it for what it is because you never know how it's going to work anywhere else. That's the one thing I've learned recently.
Yeah,
because you don't know if you're being honest on stage. I think not all your material is going to work in every place. Yeah, with everyone.
I think when I look back, I don't look back on like shows that I've done that I showed I'm getting somewhere. It's been jokes. Like it's been ones where like I remember where I was when I thought of something like this is going to be like a game changer. Yeah. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah. But
there's certain points like anchors in the evolution of my set where you can just sort of pick out where something started and where you could sort of see things forming. Like my girlfriend was going through she found my first set that I had brought for my first time. Yeah. And it's jokes I don't do anymore, but there was little quips almost that I realized I'm doing now.
But
it wasn't anything that I did intentionally. Like I didn't read it and go, I'm going to put this back in. It was just stuff I've written twice almost.
Yeah.
Just a certain style of writing, I guess, and it's weird.
Yeah. And it'll change again, I'm guessing. I'm just looking at this. Picking me up. Can you turn up 1? It's right by you. 1 and 2, just up a bit. There you go. Yeah, it'll change again, and then as you grow, you realize that things don't fit. Like certain jokes don't fit into into something else that you're working on. It's always changing. It'll always change. Yeah.
One thing you're talking about, like writing style and stuff. Like I found that, and I don't know if it's doing it right or whatever, but in terms of trying to define the type of comedy that I've done or whatever, I have no fucking idea what it looks like to anybody else. I have no idea what style it is. I don't even like.
You don't have to worry about it.
That's the thing. Like I kind of get comfort in not worrying about it because I was like, if I understood it, maybe I wouldn't do it.
It'll become a problem with you eventually, where you're like, You'll wonder what you are, and like it'll bother you, and that'll stay with you for a long time, and then eventually it'll go away again. But yeah, it's nothing to worry about. Let other people define you.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and a lot of people will look at you the way you don't look at yourself. Like I was called dirty for a lot of my career when I was starting out. They called me a dirty comic, and I was never a dirty comic. I would have some crude stuff, but I was never a dirty comic. But that's what I was labeled for a long time, and that label has lived with me for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw in your profile when I was putting it on YouTube there, Stan Lee meets Bill Hicks.
Yeah, that was a quote from some dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. From I Magazine. It's the what's it called now? The Grid.
Yeah. It's just funny because when I think of Bill Hicks, I just think of him like yelling at an audience member with his finger, like just shoving it in their face. And I've never seen you do anything like that. So
no, I'm more laid back. But I think he meant like the type of material that I do as opposed to the way it's delivered. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, even then. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this arrangement of us is, you know how when shows like make a spin-off, so they have one episode where they have some side characters to see how well it would work before they give them their own series.
Yeah, this is the Joni Loves Chachi.
That lasts what, season and a half?
I have no idea. I remember it happening though. Yeah. Didn't she go batshit crazy?
I think she went
batshit
not then,
crazy.
but not long ago.
Yeah, and she this is the spin-off.
We're the spin-off?
Yeah, they're doing a WKRP, apparently, a reunion.
Oh, really? Like a retelling or just like a
reunion? It's going to be live on the web somewhere. I'm not sure where, but apparently it's going to be a live cast.
The whole cast?
Yeah, I guess so. But like a live broadcast of it. Of them talking about it.
Are any of them dead at all? They're still alive?
You know what? Mr. Carlson might be dead. Mr. Carlson might be dead. Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, he's the original Maytag guy, right? Yeah, he's dead. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have the internet. We could look it up.
Yeah, we could.
You're right, though.
It's fun just making up facts, though. He's alive and well. He moved to Iowa in 1983.
Yeah, he became the president of Iowa.
President of Iowa. A title he gave himself.
Yeah, exactly.
He voted himself into a job that doesn't exist.
It does. I'm going to be president. He made a crown.
Yeah.
He had a Burger King crown. He put some macaroni on that and spray and painted it gold. Became the president. Not even the king. He wouldn't crown. No. He wouldn't call himself king.
Let's not dream too big.
No.
Remember as a kid falling asleep to some show. I don't remember I can't remember the name of it, but the guy was like, "To the moon, Alice," or whatever.
That's the Honeymooners.
Yeah, Honeymooners. And like, I just thought, like, thinking about that Yes All Woman thing, like there was like a time not that long ago where that kind of shit, like even like what's that other guy, Charlie whatever Bunker, I can't remember fuck his name. Archie Bunker, yeah, and he would just say all this like fucking ruthless shit.
Was satirical.
Yeah,
it was. There was a point of him being a dick.
Yeah. It's just funny that like.
Well, I guess you could say the same thing about Honeymooners. There was a point he was an idiot. She was smarter than him.
Yeah.
So
play off that. Yeah.
That's the original sitcom, The Honeymooners. Yeah. Every sitcom was patterned after that sitcom.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yep, that's the original sitcom. It was a sketch in his variety hour, and then they created a sitcom. And every sitcom where the dumb husband and the smart wife has been based on that sitcom. So whatever you watch that comes back from The Honeymooners.
Jesus.
Yeah, he created the sitcom format.
So because of them, we got Mike and Molly?
That's exactly it.
Married with Children.
Yeah, all of that. That's all from Ed Norton and Cramden. Ralph Cramden, Ed Norton. And he used to. I saw someone do a joke recently. There's an old lady, and she said, I was on the train with Jackie Gleason train because he wouldn't fly. He used to have these big things where he had a caboose on a train where they travel the country and they just fucked, drank, and did drugs the whole time. It was just fucking debauchery. Yeah, so he would travel in the caboose of a train. He had his own caboose. Jackie Gleason. Yeah. Little FYI for the podcast.
Yeah.
There.
All the Jackie Gleason super fans going nuts right now.
Alice. Yeah. Yeah, I have stills from the Honeymooners. I used to watch that show. They only made 13. No, they made more than 13.
Episodes or seasons?
Episodes.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't make a lot of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that what a season was back then?
No, I just don't think he made a lot. Because I know... what's her name? I Love Lucy. They made a ton of those.
Yeah. They had like reincarnations and
she was a smart fucking businesswoman.
Yeah.
She owned Star Trek, right?
Really?
Desilu, yeah.
Huh.
That was her studio, and they own a few of them, but Star Trek was one of her productions. Smart lady, made money, made cash. Yeah. What do we?
Dirty Comics. You want to talk about that?
Sure. Yeah. But let's talk about it. Well, I guess we're kind of getting into dirty comedy. I was watching that show, David Tell show. Have you watched it?
No.
Underground Comedy,
Yeah.
where it's like just showcases dirty comics, basically, or edgy comics. I think more dirty than edgy. It's very interesting. It's because he's saying that dirty comics have less and less of a platform in comedy now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I like mainstream comedy. I feel like with the internet being what it is, I feel like they got a bigger stage, kind of, only because there's less censorship on the web, whereas before it was all radio, TV, and movies.
I think they also mean it's harder to get like work because they
agreed.
can't get on TV.
Yeah.
But they can't get on the web, you're right. But it's harder for them to work and get going. So it's a platform to help these guys get out there to other people.
You'd have to do really good online, good enough to book shows.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I see.
Well, something like Ari Shaffir, he's never done, I don't even know, I guess he's dirty, but he's never done any real TV, any late night TV, I should say. I shouldn't say real. But, you know, there's tons of guys like that you've never seen before. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's actually a funny dude on one of the episodes. He was talking about tramp stamps, and he's like, there should be a tattoo that makes you not stay hard. Like, should be like a scene, a Holocaust scene on the back of her, back. It was pretty funny. But yeah, I don't know. There's a stigma against dirty comedy, especially in this country. With dirty comedy is like, that's like the worst thing to do. It's like the lowest common denominator, and you're like an idiot. You're a moron to do dirty comedy. Like, it's just like, ugh. And it's worse because the clean comics, who are more psycho than the dirty comics, treat the dirty comics like shit. Mm-hmm. Like, just total shit. Do you guys find that in your circles at all?
As far as dirty comics go?
Yeah.
I don't know too many of them, only because personality-wise, unless it's an act, if you're telling those types of jokes, we probably are not going to get along. Okay. Not because from a moral standpoint, just we're not going to have much in common.
Okay.
There's not much we can really talk about that we're both going to be, mutually interested in, I find.
Yeah, what's a dirty comic to you?
Dirty comic, just kind of going over the top, just specifically just to shock an audience, whether they believe it or not.
I don't mean not to. I don't mean just going to shock an audience, but they don't have. They're not. They're being themselves, but it's not just to shock an audience. It's just dirty. It's the stuff they talk about is dirty. Well, look at Manolis. He's a dirty.
But he does it so like heartwarming. Like he does it like he's just the kid in
You're
detention.
thinking of like people that are out there to like. Yeah.
Talks about draining his balls into a woman's mouth, so
he does do that, doesn't he?
No, I know what you mean. You're thinking of like the guys who are trying to be purposely edgy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean that.
Okay.
I don't mean guys that are trying to be shocking. I just mean dirty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Comics who are dirty, who do dirty stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're not scary, they're not offensive,
No.
they're not.
Like, if I don't consider Manolis any of those things. Like, he does tell dirty jokes, but he does it in a way that's charming.
Yeah, he's a human. He's relatable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like relatable, real people, but they're dirty. Mm-hmm. That's the comic I'm talking about. I don't know. I don't know if there's tons of those.
Hamilton, or just in general?
In general. There's probably tons more in the States.
I think the reason why Manolis is able to do it without kind of not offending people, because he does it with a smile almost. He's almost like winking.
Yeah.
Like he's like saying, "This is me, but let's have fun watching me be me."
Yeah. It's let's have fun watching me be an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
What's an example of like a dirty comic, like a high profile? I guess
a high profile dirty comic. For me, I guess Louis C.K. could be. Jim Norton might be.
I can see Jim Norton.
I'm trying to think of somebody else who's that level. Are you looking at that level?
Yeah, like I wouldn't really like. For me, I don't really consider. I don't know what the genres I guess are, but like Louis C.K. is like for me kind of like philosophical.
He's only philosophical, I would say, about 20 minutes of his specials.
Yeah.
And for the whole hour, it's more
Yeah, that's true.
It's
There's a lot of
all-
like kind of
it's-
gross. dirty
It's
things,
even
yeah.
in fact, I'm not saying it's hacky, but the subject matter, like he's got about 15-20 minutes of like that's fucking brilliant shit.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it's more relationshipy stuff.
Yeah.
Like Chris Rock's like that, but he's not. I wouldn't put him as a philosophy comic. I think he's got that chunk of philosophy, and then he's more dirty.
Yeah.
But he's more everyman.
What about Chappelle?
Chappelle's a little different. Chappelle's got more philosophy than Louis C.K. I'm not that I'm putting down Louis C.K. I think he's playing the everyman, but he's hyper aware of it.
Yeah.
In
terms of being a dirty comic, what do you think?
I think Chappelle. I think I don't think Chappelle's a dirty comic because he talks about more stuff than that.
Yeah.
But I think Louis is more of a dirty comic. He goes to the philosophy, but then it goes into the dirt very easily. Not easily. There's a lot of big comics where I would say they were like dirty, and like even Louis, I wouldn't call dirty. Maybe Patrice O'Neill was dirty, but even that wasn't dirty.
Yeah.
They have dirt, but it's not dirty.
Yeah.
There's intelligence to it too, right?
It seemed like those kind of comics, at least from my very like surface level understanding, more in like the 80s. There's a lot more dirty comics. At least it seemed like that to me than there is now.
Maybe Taboo's is better. Although it sounds like really fucking losers to say Taboo, but like more where they can get into those subject matters. There's no, you know what I mean? You don't feel like you watch Jim Gaffigan start talking about eating pussy. Yeah, you're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas someone you watch someone like Patrice O'Neill talk about eating pussy, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's a type of comic, maybe.
I watched Elephant in the Room or whatever a couple days ago.
That's
just
great
like
special.
He comes like the first thing he does is just point out some girls' tits and go, "Those are great," and like it just goes into that for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's a great special.
Yeah.
He's like what's that comic from way back when? Fuck, I even forget his name. He got arrested all those so many times.
How long ago?
Years and years ago. 50s, 60s, 50s more likely. 40s, 50s. Dustin Hoffman played him in that movie.
Rain Man.
Not Rain Man. No, sorry. No, it's not Rain Man.
I'll agree to disagree.
No, okay, so maybe it is Rain Man. We're agreeing to disagree on that. You can't just use that phrase anytime you
I'll
want.
agree to disagree.
You just agree to disagree. You guys, you got the internet.
What do you want?
Dustin Hoffman, comedian. What's his name? Who did this?
Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce. There you go. I think what Patrice O'Neill did was what Lenny Bruce was trying to do. Yeah, in that special.
Yeah, I guess kind of like just popping into the like comedy scene like super late as I have. When I watch some of that old stuff, like I can see the value in it. I can see that it did change the landscape, or whatever. But I'm like, I can't watch this. So, like a lot of it, I'm just like it's just so out of place for me.
Like
a
what?
lot of the topics. Well, even like Bill Hicks. So watching him, he's like ranting and everything. It's like I guess at the time was like really revolutionary, but I look at that and like they like a lot of comics have that kind of style now.
Now they do.
Yeah. So it doesn't have that effect.
Well, that's what happens when you're revolutionary.
Yeah.
Everyone takes it and turns it into shit, and then you look back on it and go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like,
and it's just from my lack of knowledge of the history of
that's because whatever hacky joke was born out of somebody.
Yeah. Well, everybody says Lenny Bruce is like the foundation for a lot of like comedy is now. So
I would say Richard Pryor is more the foundation of that. Lenny Bruce broke down like in terms of what you can say. Like he took but Richard Pryor's and George Carlin too. But they're like Richard Pryor was about being honest on stage. They were the first two to get out of that kind of doing a shtick.
Yep.
And then the shtick thing stayed for a long time. And then in the last 20 years, it's like slowly melting away, the shtick. But it's like, I would say Richard Pryor was the first.
Yeah.
I think Richard Pryor has a bigger influence than Lenny Bruce. That's me.
Yeah, Richard Pryor, I can see, like, I can watch his stuff now, and I feel a little bit, I guess, a little bit stronger influence from him, for sure.
Yeah, he was very honest. You can see people doing it now. Less punchliney. It's just like, more, you got your generation doesn't even like hearing a punchline. Punchlines in anything, you guys like fucking turn off.
Yeah.
Your punchline, but there's punchlines in all of it. All of it has punchlines.
It's the way it's arranged.
You don't like the rhythm.
Yeah.
There's a rhythm that your generation doesn't like at all.
For some reason, when I like hear the punchline, I think of like that Canadian guy or something. I don't know why. Just immediately my brain goes to that.
Well, that's the problem, right? Because it's like there's a lot of guys that don't like to hear a punchline, but then they go, okay, well, I'm going to do it without punchlines, but they don't realize it's punchlines.
It's still punchlines.
You got to learn how to write a joke. It's just the rhythm. You just take that and then you learn how to do it yourself. Yeah, but it's just I don't like how that sounds, so I'm going to make it different. That's all. It's the rhythm's different.
Yeah.
And the rhythm will change again. Somebody else will be like, But Carlin kept that rhythm for a long time, you know? I know he had a lot of punchliney stuff.
Carlin's dirty comic, eh?
I wouldn't even call him dirty. He can be, but I wouldn't even call him dirty. He has the ability. Richard Pryor had the ability to be dirty. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't call him a dirty comic.
Yeah.
They're just bigger than that.
Yeah.
They're bigger than what that is.
Yeah. George Carlin, I pretty much learned about life through that guy.
Yeah, he's my favorite comic.
Yeah. He's great.
Yeah. I don't know. We're talking about the guy wants to know about bombs. Did that answer his question? Bombs and...
Well, we're on dirty comics now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions from people?
That's all I got here. So
okay. So we're out of topics.
Yay.
We did good.
Yeah, we did it, guys.
Yay.
Are you guys done?
I don't really have any topics in mind. I'll be honest, I just went to Mandarin.
Oh, what happened at the Mandarin?
I ate a lot is what happened at the Mandarin.
Did you just leave the Mandarin when I texted you?
I was at the Mandarin when you texted me.
You were like, oh, fucking right. Oh.
Yeah, I was fine. Like, oh, yeah, sure. I'll be home by then.
Okay. How was it? How was the Mandarin?
Always a pleasure.
Which Mandarin did you go to?
Upper James.
Okay. All right. That's a good one.
It's a great one.
It is a great one.
A lot of food.
Yeah.
That's the top performer of that restaurant.
You what?
My friend actually is a franchise manager for all the Mandarins.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah?
And she said that's the top performer.
Really?
Ah. So you're saying you can get us all discounts?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
That was very convincing. Yeah. I didn't want to put you on the spot like
Do a
that.
live broadcast of Girls Night Out from the Mandarin.
Yeah, this is actually this is legal binding.
Yeah.
That you said yeah to that.
We have it on tape. I'm wearing a wire.
Yeah, well, it's not even on tape; it's digital.
Yeah.
But tape to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wearing a wire.
It's a callback.
It's called back to your wire.
Yeah.
So did you guys want to talk any more about comedy, or
I'll talk more, sure.
Or do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
I just did a house party, I guess, last night.
A show?
Yeah, I guess it was a show.
For who?
Kurt Hall.
Okay, how did that go?
It was fun. It was it's a smaller apartment, so everyone was kind of on the couches and everything. And I find it weird doing shows that aren't in venues.
Who was on the show with you guys?
Adam Clark, Jordan Hoth was there, Devin, Ben Whips, a girl from St. Catharines named Bones. Mm-hmm. I think that was it. There has been
Is it a
other
regular
people.
show?
No, it's his first birthday.
Okay.
But I'd like to see him do it regularly. Because he did the Toronto show that they have the apartment.
Okay.
Who does it?
They have one in Montreal, too.
Andrew Barr and Nigel runs it with him.
Okay.
I think. But yeah, I think they're trying to bring that to Hamilton.
Okay.
It was fun.
Okay.
I think actually Kurt Hall brought me up by saying I'm from the Girls Night Out podcast, which I've never been asked to be on. So everybody boo him. It's like I've been on it twice. He treated me like I was one of the showrunners.
He was upset about it?
He wasn't upset. He was just using that as a reason to get people to boo me.
Oh, that's horrible.
Because people haven't asked him to be on it.
You got to punch people. It's an apartment. No one's going to say anything.
We're gonna call the cops. He probably will call the cops.
Is it
actually.
his apartment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's his
Do you
party.
get food out of it?
No, he just had some friends over and set up some beer and some microphones.
And they had a good time?
Yeah, they had a really good time.
How big was the venue?
Yeah, it was an apartment. I don't know. There was 10 people watching, maybe 10 or 11.
Well, that's a lot of people for an apartment.
And they were attentive for a party for a bunch of
How do you have it
drunks.
set up? Like living room or was
Living
it?
room, yeah.
Okay. I thought about it a couple of times. I thought about it for Nuit Blanche once.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but I never did it. But I thought about it here. But then You got to deal with people coming in your house.
Yeah, but I mean, you got a good location because you're in Hess, but you're not going to get the Hess people in here.
No,
You can decide who you can let in.
You're letting in.
So you get the right audience.
Yeah, the right audience, not the Hess audience. You don't like the Hess audience.
I do not care for the Hess audience. I'm not a type of person who can really...
What's your favorite audience in Hamilton?
I don't want to say my audience, but the audience I tend to bring in is friends and friends of friends who are more, I wouldn't say smarter people, but people who can appreciate well-written jokes instead of offensive jokes, I think.
I agree with you.
There's a lot of buzzwords that set people off.
Yeah,
and I don't...
And loudness.
It's like
screaming,
too easy.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was going to say, from my very limited experience, I found that, like, what you did, like the Hammer Night, it was more even. Like, the whole experience, like, when I went up, it was like, it wasn't ups and downs, everything. It was just consistent the whole time. Like, everybody was getting everything I was saying. It wasn't, like, a lot of hang up on the audience's part.
I find your room, I come out with material. I always come out with material out of that room.
It's small enough that they're attentive and I can't walk away, and they're kind of there to see a specific type of comedy.
It's a good Toronto room with people in it. Like, it's a good Toronto room with people. Like, some of the pot rooms in Toronto could be good, or sometimes it could be shit. But that's a good Toronto room. Like, it's comedy bar on a good night.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's comedy bar. There could be more people, but it's like how I like to tour those audiences. I like to deal with those. Yeah, it could be tough, but it's a good learning place. Yucks, the audience is very broad. It's just broad, and to me, most of those clubs are like soccer moms go to that shit.
Right.
That's because it's just a broad club.
Office parties.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. They're good. They're easy to play. They're very easy to play. And then you can slowly challenge them, but it's very basic. But you're right. You saw like a lot of, your crowd doesn't go after the shock and the screaming yelly.
Yeah. We've had screamy yelly guys, but they've had material to back it up too.
Yeah.
The problem with doing like yucks and everything is you don't get a big head, but it's like they are easier to do.
Yeah.
So you sort of think, okay, my material's working. I'm at that point where I can start doing bigger things. But then you're like, no, they're just there because it's a night out for them. They're drunk. But it's easier to compare it to a bar, whereas
it's
there to drink.
Yeah, it's a fork in the road, like when you're playing yucks, because yucks on Wednesday isn't different than yucks Friday, Saturday, right? It's the same room, but it's like you could take an easy way and then just kill them all the time.
Right.
But it doesn't make you a better comic around the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you go to England, the comics are more worldly than we are because they tour all over. But it doesn't. Yucks is like, to me, it's like just the bottom rung. When you go other places, there's just like, it's just, if you were like, I'm the fucking baddest fucking killer at Yucks, you're like, if it's a badge of honor, you go to other places, you realize, oh, it's like just so, it's Chuck E. Cheese. It's just that level.
Had lowest common denominator as far as clubs go, because everyone's heard of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it's a B club. It's a B club in terms of club levels. And you go to an A club, they're smarter, they're into other things, and they're more worldly. They know more things. And
what's an example of an A club?
An A club would be like the Laugh Factory in LA.
Okay, cool.
Or any of the improvs. Like the Improv in LA is a different club than the Laugh Factory, because the Improv, you'd probably like the Improv. It's more, you get the more alt nerdy comedy there. And then we got Nerd Melt too, but that's not a comedy club. That's more a showcase club. And the Laugh Factory is more, it's like Laugh Factory is like a better Yucks. Like a Chris D'Elia would play that. You know what I mean? Like it's more those type of guys, flashy, clubby guys. And then the Comedy Store is like the dirty, grungy, that's the workout place. For me, I would tend to go to Improv and Comedy Store between those two. But I mean, guys go between all three, or people go between all three. Yeah, your room is rare. And Brantford's a good room too, but it's not the greatest. Yeah. Guys get Joe gets disappointed with me because every time he talks about Yucks and how great it is, I'm like, yeah, it's okay.
How has the Brantford room been doing since the kind of, I guess, is Mason's shenanigans still going on?
What didn't happen this week?
So the hockey game?
Yeah, didn't happen this week. They really telling me anything. I haven't been back to shenanigans since the first night. Were you at the first night?
I haven't gone yet.
You haven't gone? Yeah.
As the week sort of pans out, I get a little bit more tired. So I'm just like, don't go to those ones yet.
Oh, yeah. Are you just exhausted?
Yeah. That's why I usually don't go to Yucks, just because I'm just like,
out
by that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's You
We're in town by Wednesday?
Yeah, well, like working all day and
you got a kid.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I work a lot of hours and stuff, but
It's your own business.
yeah, it's crazy. It's like too much hours, but yeah.
Well, I guess Toronto kind of not took over Brantford, but I guess Toronto found out about it, kind of.
Yeah, but they're not there all the time.
No,
And
but
it's more of like newer comics from Toronto. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not there all the time. The problem with like, dude, I used to hit Toronto all the time. The problem is like getting a room with audiences. That's fucking tough. Mm-hmm. Like I built more material being out here with less rooms because there's audiences.
Right.
Toronto is just like there's no audiences in the rooms.
Like just because there's so many rooms?
Yeah, there's way too many comics, and there's so the place isn't big enough for the amount of comics they have. Mm-hmm. I remember I lived at Queen and John. I remember leaving my house, walking down the street, turning the corner on Queen, and someone was like, "Yeah, I'm a comic." Everyone's a fucking comic in that city. Yeah. Every person was a goddamn comic. It meant nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a comedian. It's just like everyone's.
What does that mean? Like
it means nothing. I was putting on shows and people were like, yeah, I want to be on your show. And I'm like, have you ever? No, it's my first time doing comedy. Mm-hmm. And they'd be upset if you don't put them on. You're like, it's a professional show. Mm-hmm. And like, they'd be mad at you. Mm-hmm. Like, what the fuck? You're not giving me my chance to shine? That's just different. It's a lot of comics. So finding an audience there was finding a room with an audience was tough. And you're like trying to work on material, so you're trying to hit these different rooms. Like you get 3 in a night, but there's no guarantee for anything. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like piecing it together was tougher.
Right. I get a lot of people saying I should be going to Toronto more, but to me, it's the effort. It's busing 45 minutes one way and then getting there and fighting for spots, and then may not even be an audience there that's worth sticking around for, even getting on. I
don't know what to tell you. Like I don't know anything. Mm. That's the one thing I've learned. Is one of the things I've learned is like whatever I say, like, yeah, you should be in Toronto because that's how you're gonna improve your career. I'm gonna be completely fucking wrong because the times have changed so much. You can get good in this country only to a certain point, and then you gotta leave the country. So it doesn't matter if you're here or there. You go there if you want to get on some shitty Canadian show. I'm guessing. Or get recognition, but at this point it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's how you use a stage time here. If you use it smart here, you can build up some stuff. Mm-hmm. You can get ahead if you use the stage time smart here.
Even if you're just doing stand up in Hamilton and then kind of creating not an online persona, but like doing everything else, blog wise,
doing all that stuff,
posting stuff.
Because like honestly, in Toronto, everybody else is anonymous. It's like Mark DeBonis was talking about it. He said it's like everyone's working hard to do nothing. Mm-hmm. Everyone's working hard going out to all these rooms to do nothing. Right. Because it leads to nothing. Like I'm just learning how to showcase in the last few years because Canada's not a showcase place. Mm-hmm. They don't train you how to showcase, and that's one of the major things you have to learn is how to showcase. I was talking to a fucking comic, a new comic. I'm like, get your 5 minutes. That's all you need. No, I'll learn how to MC. Why would you need to learn to MC? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Learn to get 5 minutes so you can showcase, and then they throw you into those spots. You can learn those spots as you're doing it. Mm-hmm. Preparing yourself for hecklers is pointless because you're preparing for the worst possible scenario. Prepare the best 5 minutes you got. Just sharpen that up and then showcase it for the clubs, and you'll work. That's the best thing to do. But yeah, nobody knows those steps. It's just not being taught.
Right.
Are you supposed to drive yourself to become an MC? Is that like a
no? Why would you want to become an MC?
I don't know. I was wondering.
It's a starting point. Like everyone has to start there, but you don't want to be that.
Yeah.
So you build your act.
What is MC like in this case? Is it just like the guy comes up between?
Yeah, but like in Canada, the MC is like the host of the show. Usually because of Mark Breslin, they made it an important spot. Mm-hmm. So he has more time. In the States, it's the newest person on the show. Mm. So it's the guy who's been doing it for like a year and a half.
Okay.
2 years is the MC.
I see.
But Breslin changed it up here. But it's nothing to learn because it's something that you will learn eventually. You're not going to become a headliner until you start headlining. You don't know how to headline. You can glue all your bits together until you start headlining. You don't know how to do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Until you middle, you don't know how to do it. Until you MC, so you might as well, instead of worrying about, everyone wants to talk to the audience, and it's like that's not going to get you in the door. Mm-hmm. Talking to the audience is not going to get you in the door. That has not changed. Build your act.
Yeah.
Just build an act. They just want to know that you can do 5 minutes. They don't want to see you taking a risk. They just want to know you can build 5 minutes. I get problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to see 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the smartest thing anyone can do, is because you can't put audience riffing on tape and send it to people,
right,
and have people go, oh yeah, we can use this on any level, on TV or anything, and you're not going to change the industry that way. But again, I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't know shit. I don't strive for anything. I don't just like keep going up. And
You will, though.
Yeah.
If this is something you want to pursue, I think at some point when you're booking more shows and planning more things,
yeah, you just gotta.
the lines will start. Everything will start lining up.
Yeah,
and you'll realize who you are.
When you start achieving stuff, like him when he first started. He said like you didn't want to really do it until Devin and them started doing it, and then you start seeing, oh, you're getting better, and there's possibilities.
Yeah,
like you said, there's possibilities. It's just that you don't see the possibility right now. It's just fun.
Yeah,
it's a hobby.
Exactly.
It's something you're doing.
Yeah.
Like that's what you like, a career and a wife and a kid. Like, is this something you want to be like, not doing professionally, but are you leaning towards that line of thinking?
I'm open-minded. That's basically, like, I'm fine with it being where it is now, and if I could find fun in it, becoming successful at it, then I might lean towards it, but I'm not, either way is fine.
It's a weird thing because you're like at the opposite end of most of the Hamilton comics, because you're like a successful adult. Like you have a happy life with, I assume, a good paying job and a child, and you look at the other end of the spectrum where people are living in the rooms of other people's apartments, and it's like it's totally, because they're striving to kind of get somewhere with their comedy and not make it a full-time job, but have it be like a source of income. But you're just doing it for the pure love of it, and that's interesting.
A lot of the good things that have in my life are solely because I've figured out what the hell I was going to do up until later. Mm-hmm. So this might have been a path for me. I just didn't even think about it.
You have a better chance at it than the other end of it, because if you're not like panicking like this has got to be everything, it's got to be the thing, then, and you're relaxed with it, you probably have a better chance at this. You're
afforded time because you're not depending on it to pay rent, and kind of, I mean, time wise, you've got less time than most of the comics. Like you said, you're burnt out by Wednesday, but you also don't have to rely on comedy to kind of be the be all end all.
Yep.
You're living life, so you have more material to pull from.
Which is like a lesson for all of us, is like not to be content in those where you are in the moment. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's true. It's like the people that just like, this has got to be, they're the ones sinking. They're just sinking.
I've talked to a few of those people, and I'm just like, it's just all that energy. I'm just like, whoa, calm down, man. Like, it's not even that big of a deal. But I guess it is. Like,
I gotta get this. I need to be with this group of comics to get to. I see it now, and I'm like, wow, I don't get how all you gotta do is get better at this. Because what's the point of getting thrown into a 50-minute spot and you can't do it? Excuse me, then no one wants to work with you.
Yeah.
You can start as many rooms as you want in places where comedy shouldn't be. It doesn't mean you're getting better. People are going to watch. It just means you started a room that's going to fail in a month.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you see, just like, it's the politics of it, which you need the politics of it, but you can play a clean political game as opposed to, if you build up what you are, you don't have to buy favors. If you build up how good you are, you don't have to buy favors. People are going to want you on their shit. You just got to be a good person. People are going to want you on their stuff, or do whatever. Yeah, the buying favors and not building the act is terrible. It's the worst.
Yeah,
and there's people like that. I won't say names, but there's people like that.
As soon as they hear a show, you instantly ask if you can have a spot on it. Like, I'm not against people asking for spots on shows. Like, to me, I can't do that just because I don't feel right. But that's the other end of the way, is like,
sometimes you have to ask, though.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I know, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm on less shows because of that. And I think if I was a little more able to ask for spots, maybe I'd be on more shows. I shouldn't depend on people to ask me to like book me. I shouldn't say.
I was listening to Ari Shaffir talk about like this. There's a show that when he was starting out in the Valley, that was that was like this coffee shop, and he was trying to get on. The guy wouldn't book him, and then he finally played. It was like it was a piece of shit. That's usually the case. It's usually the case. You get on one of these shows or something, you get something that you want. You're like, oh, this is it. Oh, okay. I didn't need this.
It's like the unobtainable because you're not asking for it, waiting for them to ask you. You think it's going to be the best thing in the world.
Yeah, and it never ends. Like I still deal with it on my level with like people, and you're just like, all right, fuck it. You let it go. Yeah, you just let it go because you ask, and then you can only ask so much. Yeah. But you have to ask because nobody knows what you're thinking. Nobody's really thinking about you either. But the panic, the stress of like, the fuck, why isn't this person getting back to me? Or how come I can't get on that? That's just a waste of energy. Yeah, you got to give up on that stuff. You know, it just all you got to do is work on the craft. Always work on the craft. Yeah, and eventually things will fall into place. Eventually, hopefully, if you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like, just like I think I've said this before, but like 60-70% of I guess you could say the achievement for me is just talking to people and not screwing up my words. Like that's a huge thing for me to be able to do that.
Dude.
Yeah. So that's where while everyone's like, wow, you went up and I can't believe you said all that stuff. I'm like, that shit's easy. It was the fucking saying the words properly that was hard. Like, so like there's that too.
Do you find you get like flustered a bit easier or?
I don't know, there's this weird thing where like you'll have like a good set, so I'm like, okay, I drank one beer and I had kiwi and all this stuff, so maybe that's what I need to do through the whole day to make that happen again, right? And then I'll do that exact same thing and it will fucking bomb, and I'm just like, okay, I can't relate on that.
You're just in that I don't know how this works.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's the most confusing and frustrating time, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is super fun.
Did you say kiwi?
Yeah, whatever.
Like you ate a kiwi
Yeah.
before you ate a set.
He was stranded on an island.
Yeah.
He had a kiwi.
Honey, get the kiwis. I'm doing a set tonight. I told you to get the kiwis.
Yeah,
you knew I was going up tonight.
Domestic violence over the kiwis not being. Yeah.
Just imagine him bombing. I say, sorry guys, don't have a kiwi tonight.
I didn't get my wife didn't pick up my kiwis.
So if I'm bad, that's probably why.
I'm gonna probably use that as an opener when you're there, just so you get that, especially for you.
I think you got to make jokes that one person in the crowd's gonna get.
Aiming high.
This one's for you, Matt.
This one's for you, Matt.
I'm not even there when he says it.
Yeah, it's just, and then point to the sky.
Yeah.
Or you're in the bathroom.
I saw a comic point to the sky. Yucks! This guy, he has tattoos. I forget his name, and I guess he did well. And then he left. He was like, he's making fun of fat people, and he's like, I don't mean to be dark. And I was just like, all right. Then he left, and they were like, Pat was just like, oh, give it up for blah blah blah, and he did this whole like, yeah. And I was like, dude, stop it, stop, relax.
Yeah,
you're heading for some heartbreak, some disappointment. He pointed to the sky. And Manolis and I laughed at him. We laughed at him for a while.
Well, his dad's a roofer. He actually built that roof of that building.
Dad built that. No, he was like Sabu from wrestling. He just pointed to the sky.
It was a nice moment.
Yeah, it was a nice moment. You're waiting for that J.J. Abrams lens flare off his finger. Ding! And then, there you go.
He just vanishes.
Yeah, it just disappears into the night. You know, he turns into a million birds and flies off.
I said, like after being so many years in the comedy scene, you must have seen like a lot of jackasses.
I've seen him.
Well, either of you, yeah.
No,
well, even more.
No, sorry.
Because he's been even longer, right?
You can.
I want to reflect on my year and a half.
Yeah,
almost 2 years. 2 years this August, I think.
Jesus Christ,
old man.
You're new.
I'm an old man. I've seen it all.
Yeah. You see a lot of assholes, but you see a lot of good people. The one thing I've noticed is the people who are like scared are the ones that I'm like, okay, I can deal with them. I can talk to them. The ones that are scared because they're going to be good because they're not good already.
Yeah.
And there's guys who are not scared and super confident, very alpha male.
Yeah. Who
are good, but they're generally not my type of comedy. Like it's generally kind of hacky and stuff, and they're just loud. But the ones that are scared, you can see They got a brain working.
I noticed because my professional background is like radio, so I came from like small time radio to comedy. So like there was very distinct correlations. So I wasn't that surprised because like the small town radio DJ is just the biggest jackass you'll meet.
Yeah.
Because his voice is all throughout the city.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's just like everyone's listening to me.
I met a guy like that in St. Catharines. He's a fucking dick.
Oh, they're all like that, but yeah.
He was a dick. Yeah, really. So they're all like,
I like the smaller town ones because
Yeah.
I was in
St.
Thompson,
Catharines
Manitoba for a year, and it's like 9 hours north of Winnipeg. So like it's only one radio station.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much talking to the entire city, and like everyone knows your name. So it's just you're a shithead basically.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of that in comedy too because if they've got a microphone, people are listening, people give a shit.
yeah.
But you're a night out for them.
Yeah, you're very small on the scale of things. Yeah. Oh, I St. Catharines, this guy, I was doing a festival, and Deborah DiGiovanni couldn't make it, but I could make it, and he was fucking pissed at that fact. I'm like, dude, I'm the one here.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, there's no Deborah? Like, this is what he meant. He's like, he came out in the hall, he's like, oh, no Deborah? And he just turned away and walked away from me. Then he tried to be racist on the radio, and
It always goes well.
it always goes well. Like, he was trying to be edgy, and he was trying to lure me into something edgy, and then I said something edgy that was funny. He's like, cut, you can't say that. And I was just like, the radio DJs are fucking idiots. Right?
Yeah.
But there's this old man in a small town, fucking, he must have been a big deal. Cokehead dude. Old man. Old pathetic man. Yeah. Yeah, so how come you quit radio?
Not that I quit radio, it's that I was writing for radio, and those jobs are just hard to come by.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did sales for a while in Southern Ontario, and that kind of didn't pan out because I don't like sales.
Yeah.
So then from there,
I noticed that like anything in broadcasting or TV or whatever, like when I was a kid, like having a job like a TV station was considered, or at least in my head, was considered pretty high caliber. Now it's like, oh, you work at the TV station, you're like the host of like the main news program. Okay, you need to be going out and do our live to air. You need to be doing this. You need to hand out flyers. It's like, what the fuck? Like, how, and it's like, oh yeah, it's also 30,000 and part time.
Really?
Yeah, it's bad, man. It's really bad.
Like the CHCH people?
Yeah, I mean, if you're like a host of a major show, I'm sure things are going good. But anything outside of that, it's just like
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. As Charles Barkley would say. All right, what do you guys think? We're at an hour 25.
I am good.
You think you're good?
I'm good.
Do you guys want to plug anything?
When's this coming out? Next Monday?
Next Monday.
I think I've got a Hammer Night Live on the 19th. It'll be the last one for June. And then I think we're announcing our 1 year shows for July and August.
Wow.
I think I'm on one of those.
Yeah, you're on the 19th.
Yeah.
So I'm going to plug you being on that show.
Yeah.
Why don't you plug them on the show?
Yeah.
Plug me on the show.
Oh, you just plugged them on the show.
Yeah, this is me plugging him on the show. Come out to the Staircase Theater on June 19th. Doors are at 8. And see Nick Tompkin.
I'll try to make
And a bunch of people I haven't booked yet.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
plugging
you got one.
Yeah,
You
you're the only
build from
person I
that.
booked.
Yeah, you build out.
Start from Nick and just kind of go from there.
Yeah.
How was the last show?
Really good. We had Michael Vay's sketch troupe with
Okay.
Child, and we had, you know Curtis Connor at all?
No.
He's on Twitter. He's like, he got really big through, like, I think it was through Vine.
Okay.
So he's got a nice following, so that was good.
Okay,
He's really funny.
Is he?
Yeah, we're booking a lot of more new comics, I'm finding, just because we booked the same
Yeah.
Hamilton schlubs. You can only do it so much. So now we're kind of leaning towards newer acts and more established ones, kind of mixing it up. It's
that's
getting
good.
better.
That's good. I'm doing a Kickstarter for this documentary series called "The Geeks Shall Inherit the Earth." It's like if you watch Dave Attell's Insomniac, it's like that with nerdy stuff. So we toured it. I'm going to go on tour, do my comedy, and then I'm going to visit like nerdy stuff. So we're doing a Kickstarter. That kit launches June 11th, and we're doing a show for it at the Silver Snail in Toronto on June 15th at 8 p.m. It's Mace and myself. And one of the guys that helped direct, he does stand-up, but he's not going to be doing stand-up. He's just going to host it. So that should be a fun thing. And, yeah. And I think I'm doing a Debaters in July at some point. But
Nice.
yeah, whatever. We'll see what we do. In Montreal. But, yeah, so that's my plug. Do you got any plugs? Say?
Just Monday night, Kaleo, so that would be tonight. And that's at 9. And then on Tuesday, there's Emerson Pub at 9, and Wednesday, Yuck Yucks, Patrick, and Thursday, hopefully, Mace still doing the show. Yeah.
The Kickstarter campaign, sorry, I should have said, is at the geekshallinherittheearth.com. So if you want to donate, there's going to be a whole bunch of work. I'll let you know when it comes out. I guess it'll be out at this point, right, when this airs?
Next Monday, I think.
Yeah, and it's going to come out on the 11th of June. Yeah. Anybody else do you want to promote? Does anyone have anyone they want to promote?
I'm going to replug Anne Francis as usual. AUNT.
That's your
Anne Francis.
Yeah.
And follow Ham Sketchpack on Twitter. I'm announcing something soon for a show
I heard
in November.
about this with you guys.
Yeah, we haven't really started promoting it yet, but just follow us on Twitter.
I'll plug Hamilton Roller Derby. I was a huge fan of Toronto Roller Derby. My wife used to play it. It's Hamilton Roller Derby, very fun time. If you want to go check out some good roller derby, if you've never been, it's a good time. It's I think it's hammerrollerderby.ca or .com. One of the two. Check them out and go check out one of their games.
I also want to plug the Mandarin in Upper James. The fries are really good.
Yeah.
The rest of it's too ethnic for me. Yeah, stick with the fries.
It's like, hey, fish and chips. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Where's your hamburgers?
Yeah. I'll just make the hamburgers myself with
Excuse me,
bread.
Asian lady.
Just to clarify, is that Hammer City Roller Girls you're talking about?
I believe so. Yeah,
hammercityrollergirls.ca.
Yeah, there you go.
So follow us on Twitter at GNO Podcast, and on Facebook you should like us, and that's it.
I think you're saying Gino.
Gino.
Gino?
All right. You guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Yay.